Hello, good morning. Welcome to NewsX. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, across all our social media handles. We're Joy News on TV. Coming up within the next 60 minutes, government under pressure to end illegal mining. We'll tell you what the civil society organizations have been saying, plus hear from UTAG live here on NewsDesk. Also coming up, growing fears that Ghana may become more indebted to China. We'll tell you why, plus all the details in business in the next 60 minutes. My name is Faustina Safo. Please take a seat and be my guest. Choosing us for your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Now we start with civil society organizations and other pressure groups because they are mounting pressure on government, asking President Akufo-Addo to increase the fight against illegal mining to end the menace. Most of Ghana's forest reserve have been tinkered with, leading to a destruction of trees in search of gold. Almost every water body in the country has also been polluted, forcing Ghana Water Company Limited to spend more money to produce good drinking water for consumption. Now we'll speak to some stakeholders shortly. First, let's bring you excerpts of this documentary that we've put together here at Joy News. You know, chronicling some of the key impact of illegal mining on our water bodies.
The Against Forest Reserve in the Awin municipality covers part of the watershed of the Tano River. It was gazetted as a forest reserve in 1955. Experts say it meets one or more previously established criteria for identified sites of biodiversity importance. In December 2023, we reported an invasion of compartments 74 and 75 of the reserve by Chinese miners led by an NPP executive in the Awin municipality. A few days ago, another batch of Chinese miners and some influential Ghanaian collaborators have entered and destroyed compartments 17 and 20 of the protected reserve.
In the beginning of August, we saw some Chinese people working outside the forest reserve. They crossed the Tano River into the forest to do illegal mining. The forestry people, after 2 weeks, the forestry people came to drive them away. But they left their machines on the road. Until we came here, we realized they have moved all their excavators away, leaving the washing plants and their generators inside the reserve.
Once again, the degradation and destruction of another pristine protected forest has begun right here. This is the Against Forest Reserve, and as you can see, some illegal miners have entered and started its destruction for gold. Now what you are seeing in here is happening in compartment 17 where I'm sitting and 20 which is ahead of us. So we're going to take a tour and gauge the level of destruction.
We were told by our sources at the Minerals Commission that Clean Jobs Ghana Limited legally owns a mining right to portions of the forest, but they are yet to start mining.
While the opposition National Democratic Congress is asking Ghanaians to vote out the governing New Patriotic Party for poorly handling the illegal mining menace. A former director of elections of the party, Afriyie Ankrah, says government's failure to bring the Galamsey menace under control should be enough motivation to vote out the NPP. Ohim Interior of our security desk has more in this report.
President Akufo-Addo in July 2017 said he was prepared to put his presidency on the line in the fight against Galamsey.
I've said it in the cabinet, and perhaps this is the first time I'll be saying it in public. I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter.
It's been 7 years since the announcement from the president. Not even a series of targeted police military anti-Galamsey operations, including Operation Vanguard and Operation Hot, could help stem the tide on illegal mining. Illegal miners continue to plunder river bodies and forest reserves, despite the ban on mining in forests and river bodies. Former Director of Elections for the NDC, Afriyie Ankrah, warns Ghanaians to kick the NPP out of power as he accuses the Akufo-Addo government of failing Ghanaians in the Galamsey fight.
In fact, if there is any single reason why we must vote out this government, if you don't have any reason at all, the Galamsey fight is more than enough reason. Because you see, the implications are very serious. The effect is that Ghana Water says if we are not careful in the next few years, they cannot pipe water for us. That's serious. Fifthly, medical science data is showing that there's an increase in skin cancer, preterm abortions, and kidney diseases, and this year, and all those things. So it's a critical danger. If there is anything they could have done, they would have done it already.
According to Mr. Afriyie Ankrah, who is also a member of the 2024 Manifesto Committee, a new NDC government will streamline mining operations in Ghana to protect forest zones and river bodies.
No mining on water bodies and forest reserves. That's the first thing that has to be done. And then now you streamline the whole Galamsey. That's why we say we'll make sure that we streamline it, registration in the districts with monitoring and ensuring that mining will have to continue. But we are not the only country that has gold. Other countries also have gold. South Africa, all other places, they do sustainable mining.
Meanwhile, the NDC is promoting responsible mining in the country. From Kumasi for Joy News, Oyemi reporting.
Well, let's run you through some of the things civil society organizations have been saying. We know that key among the people to join their voice to calls for government to end illegal mining is UTAG. And it's coming up on your screen. It says University Teachers Association of Ghana. That's their statement they put out. They say, given the current alarming state of illegal mining in the country, these critics are difficult to dispute. UTAG is calling for a total ban on Galamsey now. We have taken this principled stand against Galamsey because our lives depend on it. We shall not waver our demand for complete and total ban of illegal mining, they say in that statement. And they're not alone. A lot of associations have come out to call on government to put an end to illegal mining. The Ghana Medical Association is also part of the organization that have come out to publicly condemn the activities of illegal mining. And that's a statement they put out. The Vice President of the Ghana Medical Association, Professor Enes, has disclosed that much of the food available on the market today may be eventually contaminated due to illegal mining activities in rural areas. And he called for an urgent need for collective efforts to eradicate the menace. So he spoke on behalf of the Ghana Medical Association and the Ghana Bar Association just yesterday. They also declared their stance when it comes to illegal mining. The president of the Ghana Bar Association, Yawe Champon Bafo, he's asking government to intensify its fight against illegal mining by targeting influential individuals behind the illegal mining activities. Now, the Asantehene Otumfuo II also spoke yesterday at the Ghana Bar conference, and he also raised concerns about illegal mining. The Asantehene Otumfuo II has called on the Ghana Bar Association, the Ghana Medical Association, the University Teachers Association, and other professional bodies to remain steadfast in their opposition to illegal mining activities, which continue to devastate major water bodies and the environment. He also reiterated that illegal mining is a major environmental threat and questioned the legal systems responsible for this, and he's quite concerned about it, and so are we here at Journeys. If you recall, we started this campaign against illegal mining with our hashtag No to Galamsey, because we feel that it is time for all stakeholders to come on board to deal with this menace once and for all. Let's broaden the conversation here on NewsX and bring in Dr. Abdul Mumin. He is a senior lecturer of the School of Mines and Environment Department at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. Thankfully, we also have Professor Mahmood Akudugu. He is the national president of UTAG. I would start with you, Prof. Mahmood. This is a statement we have from UTAG. One of the key concerns you're raising is that government should indeed end illegal mining. Expatiate on that for us, then we'll get into other things.
Okay. Good morning to you, and good morning to my brother and colleague, and good morning to your viewers. I think UTAG stance is based on the principle that our very survival depends on the environment, and the practice of small-scale mining, let me put it that way, is causing wanton destructions to the environment upon which we survive. And so we believe that the best thing to do at this point in time, this critical point in time, is to put a ban on it so that we can go back to the drawing board and re-strategize and see whether we even need to do the small-scale mining or not. And the thing about it is that illegal or Galamsey mining is already banned, because that is why it's called illegal. How to distinguish between the legal and illegal is a challenge. And that's why we think that because all of these mining activities or uncontrolled mining activities are happening on illegal concessions. And beyond that, you also have individuals and companies getting licenses to prospect, only to end up doing mining and destroying our forest reserves, farms, and river bodies or water bodies. And so for us, we believe that, as happened in 2017, we need to put a stop to it and then get back to the drawing board and see what is it that can be done to bring about sustainable and responsible mining.
Going back to the drawing board, what would you propose government look at? Because you've just explained that there's a thin line between illegal mining and small-scale mining.
Yeah, so we think that we must have a broader stakeholder engagement. It shouldn't be the business as usual approach in doing things, because we've done that before and we haven't seen the results that we desire. And so we cannot continue doing things the same way and expect different results. And this is the time that we want decisive leadership to take that critical decision that, look, we must stop destroying ourselves. And so we think that there must be, beyond the ban, there must be a broader consultative process, because we know, especially during news, you have done some works. We've seen your reports about deformed children being born. We've seen issues of poisoned food crops, like the cassava, the yams, and all that. And so we cannot continue the business as usual approach in fighting Galamsey. And we believe that beyond the ban, we want to have very engaging activities, both with the government, the stakeholders, and all those who matter.
You're not alone in the call for an outright ban. You've also given government a timeline. What are you looking to achieve during this period? I think I've lost connection.
During this period, we are sure that we can first of all, as an association, we have our rules and regulations governing our operations. And also, by the Labor Act, there are processes that one have to go through if you have to embark on an industrial action. And so during this period, we'll be working to satisfy the legal requirements, the national labor requirements, and also that of our association's constitutional requirements, in anticipation that if nothing concrete happens, we'll work with other associations to ensure that the right thing is done. And beyond that, we're also available, as you are talking to my colleague from UNER, we are also available to with our expertise and competences to support the authorities to deal with this issue head on.
Now, stay with me. Let me bring in Dr. Abdul Mumin. You have been in this space for a while. Everyone is calling for government to act and end illegal mining. But it's not as if government hasn't shown some sort of commitment, especially in the beginning of the administration that we are currently under. The president put his presidency on the line. There was a time where men were deployed to ensure they halt illegal mining activities. But then we still failed in that fight. So what different approach would you suggest government adopt in their fight against illegal mining this time, Doc?
Thank you very much. Good morning to your viewers and listeners. First of all, permit me to indicate that people calling for government to place a ban on illegal mining, it's as if it has been legal, and so we just want to ban it now. As the name connotes, and I'm happy the president of UTAG has referred to that, it's illegal. And we have to actually eradicate illegal activities in our space because the havoc it is wreaking is unimaginable. And the fact that it's illegal, it is not something that we have to negotiate with. So to place a ban on it is, place a ban on it, I feel is an inappropriate choice of word to use. We must necessarily fight it. Right. So in the beginning, government adopted very aggressive measures to address the situation, and it hasn't worked. And if you go back in history, right from the late 1970s to date, governments have always adopted militarization and always criminalizing and yet we are not getting to suggest that government should adopt a more civil method to address this issue than militarization and victimization of practitioners in the field. One, I suggest that the government should suspend all small-scale mining activities currently going on, and also suspend all exploration activities, whether exploration that have been advanced by large-scale junior companies or small-scale. These should all be suspended, not banned, but suspended. And then also we take an inventory of all activities going on. If government issues a legal declaration of suspension of all, one, small-scale mining activities, and two, exploration activities on the field. This is the time then to scout, to go on the field and to also deploy Earth observatory technology like satellite and also RPAs, remotely piloted aircrafts, across to identify who are still on site. And this makes it possible for us to take inventory of people who are illegally mining in our water bodies and also in the forest areas. And then also we can also conduct an audit of current exploration concessions that have been granted by the Minerals Commission, and then also overlay these because the Commission has all the details and the data of all concessions granted for exploration activities, where illegal mining activities are taking place. And then we will also be able to identify the districts and the communities where these are taking place then the duty bearers in these areas, talking about MMDAs, MCs, DCs, must be brought to book, and including the traditional leaders whose communities host these activities must be summoned to answer to Ghanaians, because we all owe these duties to Ghana. And then once we do this, then we can continue to conduct a consistent and persistent observation of the fields that have been actually identified as hosting illegal mining activities, and also within the water bodies that have been identified as hosting illegal mining activities. If these are done in a more transparent manner, as we discussed this on a live program, these can also be done on live program. Okay, so inventories have been taken, small-scale mining activities legally. Small-scale mining activities have been suspended. Exploration activities have also been suspended. And these are those that are still in the field and can be deemed as either one, illegal miners, or two, contravening government directive or directive from the authorities, and then can also be summoned to answer. Then also I encourage that we have to engage the courts, the court systems, to actually establish an emergency court system to actually address those that could be arrested out of these measures that can be put in place. And I suggest further that once court actions can be expedited, and then also we can immediately take these actions and deploy Earth observatory and technologies to identify these areas, we will have a headway than to say just ban or stop. Mining takes a lot. It involves a lot of investment. And for all you know, there are those that are legally mining and do not entertain illegal mining. But when you stop it altogether, when are we going back to operate? And a lot of people run into losses. But I suggest immediate suspension of exploration. Mind you, some of the people go under the cover of exploration, and yet they are doing illegal mining. Also, mind you that there's a difference between illegal mining and small-scale mining. We have small-scale miners who are legitimately mining responsibly, and we have people who are actually taking advantage of the presence of small-scale miners and also exploration activities to also undertake illegal activities. And those are those we have to fish out for. Those who have legal license to mine, when spotted as doing illegal mining activities, illegal mining activities include, even if you have possessed to mine, and you degrade water bodies, you degrade forest, you are illegally mining, you are doing illegal activities. And so should also be brought to book under these measures.
The Ghana Bar Association, they've raised concerns about the impact of illegal mining. In fact, we spoke to the president, who actually was proposing that we install tracking devices and excavators from the point of importation up to when they are deployed on the ground. But let's look at the impact of illegal mining on our water bodies, and that's coming up on your screen. If you could see, how do you propose we reclaim our water bodies? Because immediate suspension doesn't mean we would automatically see results.
Yeah, so if the activity keeps going, that is where the water bodies would continue to be to appear polluted. But as soon as you stop, look, there were areas in the eastern region when the National Association, Ghana Association of Small-Scale Miners, intercepted some illegal mining activities going on, and they stopped these activities. And within a month, you could see the difference between samples of water taken from these areas in the eastern region and the previous months where illegal mining activities were taking place. So to suspend and give a few days, you would come to realize, look, the supply of water from the source has not stopped, and the water coming from the source, for instance, take the Black Volta, the main drainage basin of the Black Volta, emanating from somewhere in Burkina Faso. It keeps coming with a clean water that actually carries and washes away the contaminated bodies, water bodies. And this would continue to actually transport the contaminants downstream, and then eventually deposit them in the offshore, in the oceans. And that is one aspect. And the other one is what you call the other scientific methods that we can apply which also include phytoremediation mechanisms that can be introduced at a large scale in a number of these different bathymetry of these drainage systems, and that can also help. And we have various other environmental and biophysical mechanisms that can be put in place. Within a shorter period, we would observe a lot of difference in cleaning these water bodies. Then installation of detection devices, right from import to point of delivery. I suggest that, look, we also take a record of all equipment relating to mining activities that arrive at a port. We have to generate special registration codes instead of tracking the devices. If someone imports an equipment for construction, that is different from mining, and that could also be at some point in time rented by an illegal miner to perpetrate illegal extraction activities. But if we have a special registration for one, construction equipment, two, equipment imported necessarily for mining activities, and three, equipment imported necessary for any other activity, then by the registration code, you would be able to actually determine this is at a legal site or an illegal site performing a rightful registered operation or not. And if those that are imported for rental purposes, like Mantrack or like private rentals, they could also have different registration codes, and this can be tracked. Mind you, let me remind you that currently the Minerals Commission has put in place a tracking system where they install devices on a lot of equipment that are imported by mining and other affiliate organizations and associations. And we have this center, the tracking center, manned by UMAT, our colleagues in UMAT. Yet we have all these. What could be the issue? And we need to understand that anything that we apply, the methods that we apply, and we don't get the desired results, we have to revise them. And I suggest strongly that we immediately come up with a different registration code for all these equipment that are mining related, and we can use their registration code just as we have the green number plate for government vehicles, we have the yellow number plate for commercial vehicles, and we have the white for private and other uses, right? So if we can have such labels and designations for heavy equipment, I think they also have different designations. But now, for the purposes of tracking and addressing illegal use of this equipment, we should come up with such codes. And then we link these up to the satellite navigation systems and the RPAs, the remotely piloted aircraft. And this is a state of emergency, as others have called. If we are addressing the issue, tackling it as a state of emergency, we need to immediately deploy all these technologies and devices, and also come up with, revisit our constitutional instruments, legal instruments to support these applications, the applications of these technologies to address the issue at hand.
Okay, Doc. Let me bring in the president of UTAG as we wrap up the conversation. You have declared that you want an outright ban on illegal mining, but it's already illegal. Are you referring to small-scale mining as well?
All right, thanks.
You'd have to unmute for me to hear you clearly. I was asking, you're demanding ban on illegal mining or on small-scale mining? Please clarify for us as we wrap up the conversation.
At this point, it's very difficult to distinguish who is doing small-scale mining and who is doing legal or illegal small-scale mining. And when you are in an emergency, you don't select what is legal and what is illegal when the activity leads to this kind of distractions that we are seeing. So what we are saying is that, as I think my colleague said, even if you have a license to mine, there are practices that you can engage in that will be illegal, right? So you can have the license to do a small-scale mining, but you are doing or engaging in activities that are illegal. And so what we are asking for is a complete ban, as we did in 2017, of both small scale, of both those who are doing legal and those who are doing, already illegal is illegal, so it's banned, right? So you cannot ask for a ban on an illegal activity because it's already banned. That's why it's illegal, right? But to have the opportunity to be able to do a holistic framework for fighting the menace, you just have to cease fire. And then you can properly plan and see whether it's even worth, when we do the kind of trade-off analysis, is it even worth us doing this small-scale mining, right? So we are asking for a complete ban of small-scale mining, irrespective of whether it's legal or it's illegal, because as I said, if it is anything that is illegal is already banned. So we can't ask for a ban on something that is already banned.
Thank you, Prof, for your time here on NewsDesk. He is National President of Utah. We've also been speaking to Dr. Abdul Mumin, a senior lecturer at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. Away from illegal mining, there are growing fears that Ghana may become more indebted to China in the wake of Beijing's announcement of additional credits worth $50 billion to Africa. China remains the largest bilateral creditor to Ghana, with the country's debt accumulating to $1.9 billion, a situation which is prompting calls for the need of government to take immediate steps to wean the economy off its dependence on China. However, the China-Africa Center says China's dealing with Ghana has solely been based on economic interest and not a debt trap, as being speculated by critics. Head of our Diplomatic Affairs Desk, Blessed Suga, has more in the following report.
For China-Africa cooperation has wrapped up in Beijing, with China's President Xi Jinping pledging additional financial aid of $50 billion United States dollars to African countries. The credit line is deemed crucial for Ghana, which is currently grappling with the sovereign debt crisis and looking forward to the likes of Beijing for more support.
We also value very, very much our relations with China. They've been strong relations for over 60 years. In fact, I think that we're one of the first countries in Africa to have established diplomatic relations with China. And ever since then, we have counted on you as one of our most reliable friends.
But there is growing scrutiny of China's economic assistance to Ghana. While critics lay claim to a possibility of a Chinese debt trap, the China-Africa Center, a civil group based in Accra, says the credit line could be an alternative or a complementary line to Ghana's bailout program with the International Monetary Fund.
It is about finding partners that understand our development journey, that are willing to commit and be a part of the solution that we are seeking for as a country. So if we find in those situations that China can play a part, then why not? We can engage China to build those kind of projects. So there's no iota of truth. In fact, the Ghana example, when you look at our total external debt as of 2022, about $30 billion. Out of the $30 billion, China's own in there is about $1.9 billion, which is about 6%. So if China owes about 6% of our total external debt, how then can we conclude that because of that 6%, and we are in debt crisis, therefore China is the cause of that? It cannot be.
China is currently supporting Ghana with its district's road improvement program DRIP, a usual trend of Beijing's investment in critical infrastructure. This, the Africa-China Center says, is necessary for Ghana and Africa's development.
China's engagement in Africa is purely economic interest. That is what China is doing. It's purely based on economic interest. And economic interest means that when money goes, money has to come back. So there's no way China will take their taxpayers' money and just dole it out to countries that they know cannot pay, and they confiscate their assets. To do what? To really then resell those assets to get their money back? No. These are all projects that are viable, that they discuss at various levels. Africans' own agencies are involved in the discussion. Sometimes some of the projects that are even discussed under debt trap diplomacy, you can see there's an element of Africa and European and Chinese companies all coming together to build those kind of projects.
In the years to come, China hopes to modernize Africa through its strategic partnership programs with Ghana and other nations across the continent. Blessed Sugan's report for Joy News, Accra.
Let's do some politics now. A member of parliament for Wa East has warned that the opposition National Democratic Congress will not countenance any manipulation of the electoral process. He says the NDC is fed up of sacrificing the will of the people, all in the name of peace. Dr. Jassau spoke after filing his nomination for a second-term bid. Rafiq Salam reports with more.
Awards of the National Democratic Congress, constituency and branch executives, and CEO supporters of the party in the Wa East constituency accompanied Deputy Ranking Member of Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture and Member of Parliament for Wa East, Dr. Godfrey Seydou Jassau, to file his nomination for a second-term bid in Parliament. The slew of NDC party faithful supporters first converged at the party office at the heart of the Fancy Township and later took a 2-kilometer walk to the District Electoral Commission's office for the filing of the nomination amid music from brass band. Dr. Godfrey Seydou Jassau handed over the nomination forms to the EC District Returning Officer Osman Mohamed Yanna and a team of electoral officers to peruse through. After careful and meticulous scrutiny of the forms, he was okayed to run for the elections.
We've checked through all of them, and we are satisfied with the process, that they have complied with all the rules and regulations, and we have received them.
Dr. Godfrey Seydou Jassau was praising the EC for the diligent manner they perused through the nomination forms, is confident of a successful second-term bid.
I have been diligently rolling out development projects and supporting initiatives in this district in accordance with the manifesto, the social contract that I said with the people. Being an MP in opposition, it slowed down the process. It has not scaled the processes or some of the development outcomes in ways that I preferred. However, I think that on the checklist, on the balance of probabilities, I have satisfied a lot of the conditions, and I'm confident that I have set the foundation for election 2, round 2 of my election.
Dr. Jassau is expected to pitch his strength against the Wa East District Chief Executive, Dr. Suleiman Owura Mahama, in a contest dubbed the Battle of Doctors. Reporting for the news, Rafiq Salam, Fonsi.
Member of Parliament for Hohoi, John Peter Amewu, is confident electorates in his jurisdiction would endorse his candidature and give him another term to serve in office. He expressed optimism about increasing the governing New Patriotic Party's voting pattern in the parliamentary elections to 67%, an increase of about 12% from the 2020 results. Fred Kwame Asare has more in this report.
Thousands of residents from across the Hohoi constituency followed John Peter Amewu to submit his nomination forms. Chanting songs composed with the name of the incumbent MP, they processed the streets of Hohoi in a jubilant mood to the Electoral Commission office. Mr. Amewu, who was accompanied by government officials, NPP constituency and regional executives, addressed his followers after filing his nomination forms. Individually, some people did not benefit from any of the initiatives under my development agenda. I told you that it is not everybody who will benefit during the first 4 years. Some people will have their share in the morning, others in the afternoon, and the rest in the evening. He has the firm conviction of maintaining the Hohoi parliamentary seat for the governing NPP.
In the last election, I had about 56 or 54%. This particular election, we are going to overkill. We are going to generate it. So I am not expecting less than 67%. 67%. I am not expecting it. In the next 4 years,
John Peter Amewu toppled the NDC off the Hohoi seat after winning the 2020 parliamentary elections, polling 26,952 votes against the NDC's Professor Kweku's 21,821 votes. Fred Kwame Asare, Joy News, Hohoi.
You're watching News X. We'll be back with business, to stay tuned in.
It is time for Business on Join the News Desk today. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. The Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation is confident of an increase in the production capacity of bauxite mining going forward. This comes after Parliament in July this year unanimously ratified a mining lease for the Ghana Bauxite Company, allowing it to mine bauxite at Awaso in the Bibiani Enyase Bekwai municipality of the Western North region. According to Senior Technical Manager at GIADEC, Dr. Kwabena Mensah, the move by Parliament will boost the bauxite mining space and explore more opportunities for Ghana. He spoke to Joy Business at a media engagement on the report of the Ghana Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative 2021-2022 report.
In bauxite, all bauxite deposits are held by GIADEC, Trust for the Government and the people of Ghana. So to ensure that they can meet the quantities and the volume that we seek for the integrated aluminium project, we've added on 2 more hills, the Afumba and the Boka hills, so that we will have enough resource to meet the new capacity that they are required to meet. And they are as well working on improved equipment, moving away from the traditional mining methods to sustainable mining means that will meet environmental requirements and other standards that are required of the GIADEC process. So it's a step, it's not a one-day occurrence. They are working judiciously to meet the new demands that's required of them and to make sure that they are mining sustainably. There's very, very, very clear efforts to go into sustainable mining of our bauxite resource, to reduce our environmental footprint and to meet all sorts of principles that are guided by GIADEC's laws and GIADEC's way of doing things. Significantly, the mining process itself is going to be improved upon using new methods that are already in play in the Amazon forest, for example, using the surface miner, training and bringing up the level of expertise and workforce that they have, and to leave more with a corporate responsibility that are news to the host community specifically.
Moving to Sunyani, Minister of Finance Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has called on entrepreneurs to take advantage of the financial and technical support the government has committed to offer to maximize their potential of their businesses for growth and job creation. Speaking at the stakeholder sensitization on the SME Growth and Opportunity Program in Sunyani, he encouraged the youth also to support the growth of small and medium enterprises of entrepreneurs when employed. Precious Semevo has more.
In Ghana, SMEs account for 92% of existing companies, 85% of all manufacturing jobs, and employ about 70% of the working population. To better support SMEs with the potential for business expansion and job creation, the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Trade and Industry have developed the SME Growth and Opportunity Program to offer targeted financial and technical support. Over 200 small businesses in the Bono region were exposed to how to source funds following presentations from the SME Go implementers, including Ghana Enterprises Agency, Exim Bank and Development Bank Ghana, at a stakeholder sensitization in Sunyani. Speaking on behalf of the sector ministers, Andrew Kujo Ameksin, coordinator of the SME Go, said the government will continue to extend support to businesses to flourish.
Government is going to support GEA with an amount of 200 million for the high-growth SMEs through the provision of small-scale grants and loans to 2 years as highly subsidized rates. The Ghana Exim Bank will also be supported with an amount of 500 million Ghana cedis. Additionally, the Development Bank Ghana will commit a total of 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. And the same way, the IFC is also going to support this project with $400 million US. To you, our businesses and our SME players, we encourage you to take advantage of this very important intervention to grow and expand your businesses. Government is willing and is ready to give you all the necessary support to achieve this objective.
He described as unfortunate the attitude of some youth towards the growth of businesses.
It is unfortunate that when you employ somebody, the person doesn't see that his or her future or his development depends on the success of your business. So what they intend doing is to rather come and rob you and collapse the business. And so you see that people don't put in their much. And our youth these days are
some entrepreneurs. Eugenia Doma Nobalanan of Doma's Freshly Organic Enterprise appealed for branding support.
I know of businesses that have good products but are not well branded in order to penetrate the market. And of late, branding is very expensive. So we plead that these businesses and opportunities that are coming up cover small-scale businesses that are not well branded in order to help us promote our businesses wider into the country and even outside the country.
Precious Semevo Joy Business, Sunyai.
That'll be all for business. My name is Winston Taki. We have more news for you after this break. Stay tuned.
Well, that's it for News X. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Some top stories there from the Asante Hine. Doing nothing no longer an option. Galamsey is an enemy of the nation. That's coming from the Asante Hine. Had to come a bit closer to see that. Don't worry, some of us were a little bit blind. For more news, please, that's a place to be, myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Good morning.